Hi, everybody. We're back with the Morph Business and Leadership Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. He's dear to my heart, and he's also an amazing teacher. He's an amazing instructor, and he's just an amazing person overall with a large heart himself. Great leadership model. His name is Mr. John Day. Mr. John Day, please tell the audience today what your industry is and how you've accomplished some things in your industry so far.
Well, my industry is real estate, and that is really quite broad. I started out, and real estate, again, is my second career. I started out as a real estate sales agent, struggling like everybody else, but it was also at the same time as in 2008, 2009, when the market was really starting to crash. So, it's like I wanted an extra cushion because there was so many people, so many agents leaving the field saying like, oh, I've got to go get a job.
Wow.
Real estate, hello, this is your job and it is your business. It's your business that you invest in. But, everybody struggles and you've got to put food on the table. So I went and I got my real estate instructor's license as well. So I taught real estate at the same time I was selling real estate.
Okay.
Through that, I was able to make connections with the National Association of Realtors, and my quality of teaching was recognized, and I became a national trainer for the National Association of Realtors.
Wow.
Also, at that point, that got recognized, and a very large company in New York, Douglas Elliman, some people may have heard of them, they actually recruited me to come to Manhattan and train agents in Manhattan, Brooklyn. And I went out to Long Island as well to train people in the Hamptons, which was pretty exciting, doing the luxury real estate. But, then personal issues, I didn't want to quit. I wasn't quitting real estate, but personal issues, I had to come closer to home. And so I was training and was recognized again by one of my former students, said, please, I need you to be a broker. And thus, now I'm the broker of Open Door Real Estate in Neptune. And like any business, it's slow starting, but we are working and we are building, and it's exciting.
It is exciting. So that's a lot. That's a lot. First of all,
a lot to unpack. Yes.
Yes, it is. So, first, you started off just like at the bottom of the food chain. You started off as a realtor, as a student in a class, trying to get that real estate license, which I know about that.
It's hard. It's hard. It's only 75 hours, but it is a lot of material. And as a real estate agent, your job is a salesperson. You can't say, oh, I know about this law or I know about this inspection, because you are not allowed. You're not an inspector. You're not an attorney. You're not a financer. So you can't say anything, but you have to learn every avenue. You have to be knowledgeable of everything, even though you can't tell it. But when your clients have questions, you need to be able to give them a little piece of information and guide them, and then guide them to the correct source. Because as an agent, you're always the source of information.
That's good. You're the source of information.
Yes.
That's really good, because if there's a million things, and I know in my work, I do commercial real estate transactions, not really as an agent or a broker, more as a project manager for my clients. So if they're buying a commercial property for their businesses, I do like all the PM work, the administrative pieces of it. And I am not the realtor. So if they ask me a question about a listing or anything like that, I'm like, even though I have some knowledge, like pre-real estate knowledge, because I took the classes but never actually passed the test.
Not yet.
Not yet. He wants me to take this test so bad. But so Now, even though I have that knowledge and that understanding, I never overstep my boundaries and go into that realtor's role. I always make sure I'm the administrator. So my job is to pull some of the team together. But now I go to her as the source and say, hey, I need help with X, Y, and Z. And so knowing my place and even what I do as far as helping them is really key. So can you tell me some of the clients? I know I've had some courses with you before and like marketing and stuff like that. You do a lot. So I remember at one point my mom had me do a marketing class with you, and you were coaching us. And so in one of the classes though, you guys were talking about niching down, like really focusing, finding a focused type of client, finding that ideal client group that you're looking to work
Right. It's
with.
basically like looking at target marketing. And it's very difficult because, you know, even physicians these days, they have a specialty.
Mhm.
They're either a cardiologist or a urologist or an oncologist. You know, they're not just a general practitioner.
Right.
There are general practitioners, and that's okay. But in real estate, if you want to get to the top level, you need to have a specialty.
Mm-hmm.
And I have several specialties, because I also feel that you need to be able to broaden your realm of real estate, your sales. And I talk to my agents about the spokes model.
Okay.
Like a wheel has spokes, and if wheel had two spokes and you were rolling down the hill and hit a rock, what would happen? It'd crash and it would be gone because boom. But if you're rolling down the hill with 7 or 8 spokes and you hit a rock, you're gonna keep going. So each one of the different items of real estate, each one of the little different specialties or niches in real estate, because I like to say the riches are in the niches. Um, one of the, there are several different spokes. And if you have 7 or 8 spokes, if something's not quite going right, then you've got another avenue. So one of my specialties is working with buyer clients.
Okay.
I have my certification as an accredited buyer's representative, as well as I'm a national instructor for that designation. Another specialty is working with seniors. I love working with
Wow.
seniors. And so there's a designation, senior real estate specialist. And there's a lot to know about working with the senior population because it's very different from working with a first time home buyer, from
Mm.
working with a luxury home buyer. So that's one of my specialties, as well as I'm a national instructor for the SRES designation, senior real estate specialist.
Okay.
I have other designations. I'm a seller representative. And I know I'm a PSA, which means I understand pricing strategy. I
Mm.
also teach about negotiations, which are extremely important in the whole process.
Especially right now in this whole time frame where, and this is so great that I'm talking to you about this today, but in this whole entire time frame where we're seeing a rise in the interest rates and buying homes, and like the pricing is outrageous. Some homes maybe like a year or two ago were 200,000 are now 400,000, or 400,000 are now 700,000. And you being that pricing strategist is key. We need that.
Right. It's amazing the properties that I'm seeing that are 3 bedrooms, 1 bath that are selling for 400,000.
Crazy.
That in the business we call that functional obsolescence, because it does, one bathroom in a 3 bedroom home does not function in today's society.
No.
But where that used to sell for 250, maybe 300,000, now is in the 400s.
Yes.
And it's, to me, it's incredible. But to help the seller
Hmm.
understand pricing strategy so they can get, because if I'm working for a seller, I want them to get the best bang for their buck.
Right.
A lot of things that are happening, I see a lot of agents pricing over really high because they think, the market's still crazy. The market, it's not crazy. An example, The National Association says that when we're in a stable market nationwide, there's approximately 2 million listings.
Okay.
Currently, nationwide, we are under 1 million listings.
Whoa.
So this is still really a seller's market.
Wow.
So that's why the prices are continuing to go up. Even though there's the interest rates are going up, there's an inventory shortage. So even though, it's not that bad to spend that extra money to get a house, because otherwise you're not going to get a house at all. So the prices are still going up, and people saying, well, I'm going to wait for the market to crash. The market is not going to crash.
Right.
We're not in that. We went through that, and the government took care of that. All these crazy loan products. They wrote what's called the Dodd-Frank Act in, like around 2008, 2010, something like that, which really regulated the finance market. So there's not these crazy loan products anymore. So we're not going to see a crash. We may see a slowdown, but the one gift that COVID gave to everybody was low interest rates. So the homeowner could get a really nice low interest rate. So people that have nice low interest rates, they're not moving anywhere fast.
Right.
So they're not listing their homes for sale.
Right. I do want to add to that low interest rate comment that you said too. So I believe it was yesterday. I think, it was yesterday. So yesterday I went to a class with the New Jersey NJRA. So for development, New Jersey development, right? And so basically they're a nonprofit organization that teaches us and gives products out for real estate for developers. And they teach, so, oh my God, it was an amazing class, but neither here nor there, right? A man was there, a representative, a consultant. He talked about hard money lending. And he talked about, how he's been in this game for 40 years. And he said that he has seen when he first started in this whole real estate investing field and all of the, the loans and everything like that. He said when he first started, the interest rates were like 18%. And he says, so as time went on in the last 10 years, where, I was like 20 and 23 and really didn't know much about real estate. Yeah, you too. So basically, like my age group that's buying homes and stuff like that, we kind of got used to the low interest rates. And so we don't know what it really was always like before we got used to this decade of low interest rates.
When I bought my first house, my interest rate was 11%.
Wow. See?
And I thought, oh, that was good. And we bought, FHA had what's called a streamline program that we started out with because we couldn't afford a lot. Again, my career before real estate was in human services, and you don't make a lot of money, but it's a helping and a giving field. Again, which why I love real estate so much, because it really is a helping and a giving field as well. People see it as, oh, you're a real estate agent, you make tons of money. You can, but you also have to be focused on giving.
Right.
But that program allowed us to refinance down when the rates went down to like 8%. So I remember we were so excited to get an 8% interest rate. And then 6 and 7 when we were doing great. Well, COVID, we were able to get down to 2.5.
Yep.
And it's phenomenal. And so people that is like, oh my gosh, 6, 7%. I was like, yeah, that's normal. I've been through that. And
right. And you survived. You survived. And that was the point. Like, even the salaries are going up. So I think that a lot of people are so afraid of getting into the real estate industry or becoming an investor, which you are an investor too.
I have had yes, I'm still an investor. I feel I'm on the downside of investing. That was, what? As a real estate agent, when you learn, again, knowledge is power. Ignorance is fear. So when you really learn about real estate, so anybody that wants to be in the real estate industry, they need to really take time to educate themselves. All through the time, I educated myself. So I learned about how to find the good deals. Now, being a real estate agent actually kind of helped because I was able to see the properties as they were coming on the market.
Mhm.
So I was able to get something, I was able to develop it, and then using programs that most people, don't even know about because they're not educated. I used a 1031 project, which allowed me to move my investment from one property to another property without paying capital gains tax.
Mm.
And that, so many investors do not know about that product that the government has for
Right.
you.
Right.
And they sell, and then they pay capital gains on the profit, and then they spend their money and buy. But if you use that program, you can build your portfolio so large. I build it, I build it up to a great place to where I wanted it, that now I'm on the downside, but I'm on the downside because I'm seeing retirement in the
Right.
mirror.
Right.
And now I know that since I didn't have a lot in, in stocks and bonds and all that, real estate is never a bad investment.
Never.
It's only the people that make the bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad investment.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm comfortably set for my retirement because of real estate investing, and I
Nice.
still have several properties.
That's amazing. So can you give the audience let's say 3 highlights in your real estate career?
3 highlights in my real estate career. Um, Highlight 1 would be actually getting my instructor's license because I was so afraid to get up in front of people and speak to people.
Really?
And now I can lecture for 8 hours without a problem in the world. Um, number 2, number 2 highlight is actually getting recruited to go teach for or go train for the number 1 real estate company in New York. And when I went there, it was number 2 in the nation,
Wow.
and they actually came to me. Now, my way background, I come from very, very humble beginnings. I'm one of 6 children
Mm.
that was born and raised in the Midwest. We lived on a 160-acre farm and did chores, and our clothes, when I got a new pair of sneakers, it was my dad drawing around my foot and then going to the Kmart to the end bins and finding a shoe that matched. So we didn't like go try on sneakers because taking 6 kids in the store would have been wild, and we would have wanted this and this and couldn't afford that. I came from those, at a small town in the Midwest, 1,200 people, graduating class of 44 students.
Wow.
And I actually graduated from that. And then now I am a trainer in Manhattan for a real estate company
That's a highlight.
that has agents that are stars and celebrities on TV. And I've met them. Some of them are super people. I have several of the agents that I've trained that are doing phenomenal jobs, winning
Wow.
awards every year with the company
That's
that I
amazing.
started their training program. I wrote the training program that they went through.
That is
So,
awesome.
and the number 3 highlight is actually being honored enough to be a broker and being recruited by a coaching company, a national coaching company, and I coach real estate agents nationwide as well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So tell us 3 challenges in your field of work.
3 challenges. Wow, that's the well, challenges getting up in front of the people and really trying to remember, what am I going to talk about? How can I talk for how can I teach for 8 hours? How can I even teach, because my first class I started was at night. How can I teach for 3 hours? I'm like, I remember doing speech class in high school, and giving a 5-minute speech was like an
Wow.
ordeal. Another challenge. Um, you know, I've not been I consider myself shy, so I've had to get out of that. I'm not a great one at talking to people. My best friend taught me how to actually communicate, how to meet people and talk with people, not be so shy. Because I won't talk to a stranger. I
Really?
I'm a wallflower at a party.
No,
I'm
not at
afraid.
my party.
Not anymore, but I've had to learn. My friend would go into a grocery store and she'd come visit me and pick up a jar of mayonnaise and and if she'd start talking about, do you realize how much oil they put, how much saturated fats in this? She just talked to anybody.
Well, I don't
And
do
I'm
that
like,
in the
oh my
grocery
God,
store.
how can you do that? But that helped get me out and learning.
Hmm.
And then I learned that I had to actually be mingling with people. And now it's very easy, but
Yes.
it's a skill that was a challenge. And now I can go up and talk to people, and it's really easy because I see the uniqueness in everybody.
Mm.
Some people see it as like, what are they doing wearing those glasses? Whoever told them they look good in that? That I look at it as like, wow, those glasses are really cool. They're so unique because they may look strange to me or somebody else, but that person really thought they looked good and they're proud to put them on their face and strut around.
Hmm.
So I'm going to compliment that. And that starts a conversation.
And you need to be able to be a conversation starter as a real estate agent. You have to.
Right. And the only other thing you do is you've got to ask questions
Hmm.
because the person asking the questions controls the conversation, just like you're doing right now.
You think I am? Well, give me, since I got to control the conversation, give me through one more
Oh
challenge.
my,
I need my
one
one more
more
challenge.
challenge. One more challenge. I'm going to have to say, you know what? I have personal challenges because through all this, I'm not single. I'm married, so I'm dealing with family and family medical issues. My husband was diagnosed with cancer 8 years ago, which cured that, but it destroyed his kidneys, and he went on dialysis and went through all that. And I've had to be right there beside him, picking up the pieces. For 8 years, he was sick. And last year, a year ago, he got a kidney transplant. We were thinking, God, thank you. We're through this.
Hmm.
To be slapped back down, and he's diagnosed with the same cancer that started it 8 years ago. It came back. But we're charging through it.
Hmm.
But I've had to keep it all together, to keep working the whole time and taking care of a sick family member, which is a huge challenge. People always keep asking me, well, how are you doing? How are you doing? I don't think about how I'm doing because I think about I've got to focus on him and I've got to focus on my business. So I don't think about how I'm doing, but it is a little bit of a challenge.
I can say this though, no matter what you've gone through and what you go through, your smile and your presence is always so uplifting to the people around you. I've never been around you where I felt like depressed or anything. I've never felt that from you ever. Like you literally just carry the room and you change atmospheres when you come into the room, and I just really appreciate even you being in my life. Seriously.
Well,
So,
thank you. I never really ever thought I did, but I just, I enjoy people. My first career was working with people with developmental disabilities, and I got my degree in music education and music therapy, and I took that from that point as being a therapist, working with people with the most severe disabilities, but I loved them and I helped them through that. And I worked my way up to being the executive director of a nonprofit organization serving people with developmental disabilities.
I think all of that contributed to you being so successful in your industry overall. Can you give the audience three key things that they can take away if they're interested in going into real estate, or if they are already in the game and they feel a little bit discouraged? Give them something that they can apply. Three things they can apply.
Mm. You know what? If you want to get in the business, that one of the most important things is you need to make sure that you are not going to go to school, pass the test to get your license, and then sit back and say, okay, where's my money? If you think school is hard, I mean, I've taught 600, 700, 800 agents, people to get their license, and they struggle. It's hard. That's 75 hours. Oh, that's really hard. It's not any less hard than it is actually going out there and finding the business. Because when you become a real estate agent, understand you are not employed, you are not getting a salary, you are beginning your own business.
Right.
So that is one key takeaway. Remember, if you want to become a real estate agent, it's not all peaches and cream. It's a business, and you've got to be ready for that.
You got to work it. You got to work
it.
So what's
Absolutely.
number 2?
Number 2 is in the field, no matter what happens that gets you down, always remember tomorrow's another day, and there's going to be something. And remember that it's discouraging, and people can be mean. Everybody can be mean, but focus on so much. And this is very important because so many real estate agents don't remember this. Focus on the client first. You think about helping them before you think about putting money in your pocket. If that's the way you base your business, you will be putting a lot of money in your pocket because people remember that. People remember the kindness and they will refer you. So always be kind and help your client first, and the money will follow.
That's key leadership. That was a key leadership quote right there. Remember the client first, and the money will follow. That was a key leadership quote. And then we just need one more.
One more
to apply to someone that's interested in real estate or is already in the game.
You know what? The one other thing that is so valuable is, and I had said it earlier, knowledge is confidence. Be a student of the industry.
Yes.
You need to read, you need to learn every day, because if you know it, you'll have so much confidence, and you'll be able to answer questions and talk to people. And people see that coming through. But if you don't know anything, that ignorance, they'll see the fear. So be a student of the craft. It is an important profession. People think we're all just about going out and selling homes, opening a door and looking at this beautiful ceiling, look at this beautiful stainless steel refrigerator, gleaming hardwood floors. It's not all about that. There is so much detail, knowing and understanding what's happening in the marketplace is key, because that's how you can advise your clients for them to get the best deal. This year, I've been putting listings on, and I've been selling listings within 5 days.
Wow.
There are agents out there that are listings, and their listings are lasting for 30 days. They don't understand what they're doing. They need to take it back, and they need to learn what they're doing, because you can sell it, and you can sell it for a great price, and you can make your clients happy. Again, making the clients happy, getting them what they want by worrying about your money second.
Right. Okay. So that is becoming a subject matter expert in real estate. You need to be a subject matter expert. John Day, thank you so much for being on today. If you guys want to know more from John Day and his how-tos, where he gives us step-by-step instructions on how to do these things as a realtor, as a broker, becoming so successful in your industry as a real estate agent, Mr. John Day will be a breakout speaker at the Enosis 2023 Mission Conference. Enosis is our nonprofit organization, Enosis, the Leadership Network. And so he will be a speaker on July 7th and 8th at the Enosis 2023 Mission Conference and at the Hilton East Brunswick Hotel in New Jersey. So if you want to see him there and you want to hear more from Mr. John Day, be there. Tickets sell out June 1st. So please, limited seats, come and join us. It is a leadership conference full of industry experts. Industry experts will be speaking. And Mr. John Day, thank you again so much for coming. I'm sure the audience enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I really appreciate it. And
thank you so much. And always remember, think mission,
not competition.